The magic of believing. Have you ever wondered if your thoughts truly have the power to shape reality and attract what you desire? What if, with the mere force of your mind, you could manifest money, happiness, love? Watch this video book until the end, and you will discover how to activate the power you don't know you have, the secret formula to turn every dream of yours into tangible reality. This video book is inspired by the famous work of Claude Bristol, The Magic of Believing. Any reference to facts, names, and places are purely coincidental, created to strengthen images and concepts that you can read in the original namesake work. Before continuing with the listening of the video book, we ask you to support us by subscribing to the channel and activating the bell. Stay with us until the end of the video and let us know what you think. Thank you. The story I am about to tell you is truly incredible. Yet, I assure you it is true down to the smallest detail. It is about how a young man of humble origins, Claude Bristol, managed to realize his dreams of success and wealth through the sole force of faith and visualization. Claude grew up in a poor family, without prospects. But since he was a child, he understood that he possessed a brilliant mind and an innate curiosity for the mysteries of existence. He began reading all the books he could find on the subject: Eastern religions, mysticism texts, studies on psychic powers. He was struck by the idea that, with unwavering faith, any goal could be achieved through the power of the mind. Claude voraciously deepened the teachings of Émile Coué, who had theorized the use of positive affirmations, and the theories of Blavatsky and Atkinson on how to control the subconscious. Claude came to an intuition: the key was to convince one's mind that success was already a tangible reality. One had to literally see oneself already in possession of one's desires. One day Claude found himself unemployed and full of debt. His wife was disheartened, fearing that creditors would take everything away. It was then that Claude decided to put into practice what he had studied for years. Without telling anyone, he started a morning routine. Standing in front of the mirror, he focused until he could vividly visualize his own rich and powerful figure. Then, out loud, he repeated, "I am a successful man and I attract wealth and prosperity to me." In a few months, almost magically, opportunities to make money began to rain down on him, first a position as vice president in a bank, then successful investments in the stock market. Claude's firm belief had triggered a cascade of events that quickly made him rich and powerful. The success formula. The extraordinary rise of Claude M. Bristol from a life of hardship to wealth and fame is truly incredible. Many at the time remained skeptical, thinking it was just a stroke of luck. But recently, the academic world has been carefully investigating the power of the human mind. Some studies suggest that there is a direct correlation between our mental models and the events that tend to manifest in our existence. This theory, hastily labeled by some as magical thinking, seems instead to find concrete practical confirmation in the lives of entrepreneurs, athletes, and personalities who tell of how they have achieved extraordinary successes thanks to the firm belief and inner visualization of their goals. But what exactly does this secret formula consist of? Is it truly an innate capability in every human mind that can be acquired through precise training? And if so, what impact could it have on a person's private or professional life? Questions that science is trying to investigate, with initial evidence pointing to possible revolutionary implications in fields ranging from quantum physics, probability theories, to cognitive and positive psychology. We are only at the beginning of discoveries that could radically rewrite our understanding of how the universe truly works and the role of the human being within it. The Legend of Williamson. I will become the greatest builder in America. A few words scribbled by Frank Williamson in his personal diary when he was just a boy living in poverty on the outskirts of Toronto. Yet that sentence, written with the unwavering determination that only a visionary teenager can have, seems to have triggered a chain of events so fortunate it almost appears magical. According to Dr. Smith, a scholar of the controversial law of attraction, everything began in Frank's childhood when, every morning, he repeated his goal of becoming a successful entrepreneur in the construction field in front of the mirror with focus and visualization. 15 years later, with his mother struggling financially to support him, Frank heads to New York with a few dollars in his pocket and an ambitious idea: to meet key figures in the Big Apple's real estate sector to make his way. An impossible dream for anyone, but not for him who had nourished that burning desire in the depths of his mind for so long. A desire that, according to Dr. Smith, had in fact shaped the quantum energetic path on which his life would then unfold. Indeed, against all odds, Frank earns the respect and mentorship of Mr. Hardwell. Thanks to his teachings and an extraordinary entrepreneurial intuition, in a few years Frank creates Williamson and Partners, a dynamic construction company that revolutionizes the skyline of Canadian metropolises. Mr. Williamson's story seems to offer a tangible perspective on the hidden powers of the human mind. But is it really possible that merely imagining a different future is enough to magically attract it into our lives? What really happened in the psyche of that boy? Dr. Smith's hypothesis is that young Frank had a particular mental predisposition to generating patterns and deep beliefs capable of altering the space of probabilistic events. In other words, his unwavering determination, combined with constant mental training, would have channeled enormous energies to shape the very matter of the future he was envisioning. Energy sufficient to attract situations and people that would assist him along the way. Emma's premonitory dreams. There are some fascinating phenomena that seem to corroborate the thesis of a close link between thought and reality, to the point where the former would be able to shape and condition the latter. One such phenomenon is that of premonitory dreams. Many stories are reported of people who have experienced vivid dreams concerning specific events that then precisely occurred in their real life. The most famous case in the world of research is undoubtedly that involving Mrs. Emma Cardano, a housewife who, in 2018, began to be tormented by a recurring dream where her husband was involved in a terrible road accident exactly as she had seen in her dream vision. In a panic, the woman consulted a psychologist, but no therapy seemed to curb the obsession of these dreams, which repeated periodically, causing great distress for Mrs. Cardano. Incredibly, just a few months later, her husband became the victim of exactly the car accident foreseen by the woman in her dreams, fortunately emerging without serious physical consequences. But the similarities with reality left the team of neurologists who followed Mrs. Cardano's case speechless, to the point that scholars are still questioning the links between the dream dimension and the events of our plane of existence. The impact of positive thoughts. Our thoughts and inner beliefs seem to have the power to shape the events that happen to us by influencing objective reality. This incredible characteristic is well exemplified in the case of a woman who had to defend herself in court for a traffic code violation. Despite contrary photographic evidence presented by the police, this woman was intimately convinced that she had respected the red light. To everyone's surprise, the judge ruled in her favor, as if that firm inner conviction had altered the normal causal flow. In the shadows of the Oregon woods, Opal Whiteley, raised among loggers, dreamed of being a descendant of French nobility. Convinced she was the daughter of Henri d'Orleans, she wrote a diary of childhood memories, imbued with fantasy and a desire to belong to a world of angels of royal blood. This diary, published when Opal was 22 years old, enveloped her life in an aura of mystery and charm. Her fate took an extraordinary turn when, years later, she was seen in India, welcomed with royal honors as a guest of the Maharaja of Udaipur. The Oregon girl had transformed, in the eyes of the world, into an Indian princess, a dream she had nurtured since childhood and that, against all odds, seemed to have come true. Her life became a living novel, where the boundaries between reality and fantasy were blurred, fueled by the secrets and stories that Opal knew and told. Her story reached its peak when she was seen in Allahabad, greeted as nobility, a living confirmation of the power of dreams. Opal Whiteley, through her incredible existence, demonstrated that the deepest truth is the one that makes the heart shine, bridging the tangible world with that of the boldest desires. Even improbable events, like the timely installation of a telephone line, seem to occur more frequently in subjects who await them with unwavering trust. This was the case with an entrepreneur who, by simply asserting his need to the manager of a telecommunications company, obtained a priority connection over a long waiting list. Ultimately, science is investigating the extent to which the mental models we nurture can guide the flow of events we experience, literally shaping the occurrences around us like an energy field in resonance with our patterns of thought. The ancient Hopi prophecy. There's a red thread that seems to connect all these fascinating stories of premonitions, improbable coincidences, and scientific discoveries about the power of the mind, the idea that thought and physical reality are not separate entities but deeply interconnected and interdependent. This concept is also found in many ancient spiritual and shamanic traditions, from the Indian Advaita Vedanta philosophy to Zen Buddhism, to the pre-Columbian cultures of Central America. Among these, the Hopi tribe, one of the most ancient ethnic groups native to North America, stands out. Their ancestral cosmogony is based on the premise that the physical world is nothing but a densified projection of the underlying spiritual plane. In other words, every element we perceive around us with the five senses would be the concrete manifestation of an invisible matrix of archetypes and informational codes that govern reality. Just like a 3D hologram generated by the superposition of vibratory patterns. And it is here that a dark prophecy, orally transmitted by Hopi shamans from generation to generation, comes into play. The prophecy literally states that there will come a time of great discovery, when the children of the whites will rediscover the lost path to the source of all reality. Many experts in ancient cosmologies interpret this passage as a reference to the possibility, for modern man distracted by technology, to rediscover the intimate interconnection between spiritual dimension and worldly reality. Almost to foreshadow studies like those presented in this book. And perhaps this is where the great revelation lies, in the unification of science and spirituality to understand the holographic nature of the universe, where our cognitive models and beliefs can shape the world around us. We are the creators of our reality. In the post-war era, two pillars for success emerge: preparation and trust. The Industrial Summit is not scaled by faith alone, but through visualization and affirmations, the path to the goal is opened. At the heart of this ascent is the mirror technique. In front of one's reflection, positive beliefs are pronounced, a method dear to figures like Winston Churchill. This not only boosts confidence but also refines posture and speech. It's a transformative practice, making tangible improvements in self-esteem possible. However, success requires more than a good image. A clear action plan, well-defined goals, and a subconscious mind ready to turn desires into reality are needed. Personal initiative becomes the key to excel, where reliability and the ability to turn enemies into allies play a crucial role. Maintaining positive thoughts and offering help not only forges friendships but opens doors. Surrounding oneself with people who represent what we aspire to be and showing genuine interest in work are steps towards personal and professional progress. In conclusion, personal image and presentation are essential. Taking care of one's appearance is not vanity but a strategy for successfully navigating the world of opportunities. The mirror of life invites each individual to reflect the best version of themselves, transforming dreams into reality. Space-time magnetization. But how does this hypothesized magnetic field of thought interact with the reality we perceive? What is the mechanism that transforms the frequencies of our mental models into objective events? This is the question that some physicists, convinced proponents of the existence of a space-time magnetization effect, have dedicated themselves to in recent years. According to these theories, when a person generates a thought or a mental image with sufficient intensity and conviction, an electromagnetic impulse is produced that induces a sort of space-time magnetization. In simple terms, a field of distortion of the surrounding space-time is generated, the shape of which depends on the content of the thought itself. This geometric anomaly, in turn, would alter the normal lines of probability and possibility that govern our quantum universe, favoring precisely the manifestation of the events imprinted in the magnetic thought at the origin of the phenomenon. The team of physicists is currently working on an innovative prototype of a mental form meter capable of mapping these space-time fluctuations induced by human thought. The first tests on selected volunteers have yielded striking results, demonstrating how specific thoughts always generate the same configurations of distortion of the surrounding reality. A study that, if confirmed, could definitively validate the existence of a human ability to alter the very fabric of space-time through thought, literally guiding probabilities in one's favor and shaping reality. Beyond matter. Assuming that the revolutionary theory on space-time magnetization finds experimental confirmation, what implications would it have on our understanding of reality and humanity's place in it? First, it would coincide in a surprising way with what was already mentioned by the holistic cosmologies of the Hopi tribe and the Advaita Vedanta philosophy about the existence of an energetic/informational plane that supersedes and generates the physical universe we perceive. In other words, it would prove in scientific terms the accuracy of ancient spiritual assumptions according to which there exists an original layer of consciousness that shaped the entire creation, and of which we all are an integral part. Secondly, it would demonstrate that our conscious mind, through the activity of thought, can directly interact with this more subtle energetic dimension, altering its quantum states and modulating its subsequent physical manifestations, opening the way to a new era where technological progress and ancient wisdom cooperate to allow humanity to transcend the limits of the material world. Through the development and mastery of our higher mental faculties, we could literally learn to shape the reality around us according to our will. No longer mere inhabitants of a universe with magmatic outcomes, we would become conscious quantum sculptors capable of sculpting existence like virtual clay, transforming every dream or aspiration into tangible reality. It's the dawn of a new era for humanity, the era of the creative mind, where thought and reality will finally merge into a matryoshka of potentialities and expressions of consciousness. Thank you for listening to this audiobook. We ask you to support us by subscribing to the channel and clicking on the bell so you will receive a notification for every new audiobook we publish. Leave me a comment about the audiobook you just listened to. See you at the next video book.